Hey guys, I hope you're doing great today. Well, this is our chapter number 35 in which we are going to talk about what is Kubernetes. Guys, this would be our fifth DevOps tool on DevOps Molvi channel. So make sure that you subscribe DevOps Molvi because we are going to learn a lot about DevOps tools and DevOps technologies. So today I am really feeling super excited and honestly saying that it would be a big day for me because we are going to learn about what is Kubernetes in today's lecture. And honestly saying that Kubernetes is a whole world. There are tons of concepts that we need to learn in Kubernetes. So this would be our introductory lecture on Kubernetes. Why should we use Kubernetes? And there would be separate lectures on each Kubernetes concept because I want you to learn Kubernetes from the very beginning, from scratch, and we should learn every Kubernetes concept, every components of Kubernetes, and how Kubernetes works, what are master and worker nodes, and the architecture of Kubernetes. So, you must be thinking that why Kubernetes is known as Kubernetes. By the way, for your information, Kubernetes means captain, okay? It means a captain who drives the ship. Now, in Docker, we saw that there was a ship and that ship was containing hundreds or thousands of containers. And that ship is driven by a captain. Now, each container contains our application. So we can say that when we have thousands of containers running applications and they are now shipped or managed, they must need a captain, right? So Kubernetes is the captain. When we have millions of containers, when we have millions, I'm talking about billions. By the way, Google runs billions of containers each week to power their search engine. So now when we have billions of containers, we must need a tool to manage all those containers. And that's what Kubernetes does. So the proper definition or the main concept of Kubernetes is to scale your applications, to scale or manage your containerized application. That is the core purpose of Kubernetes. So if someone asks you, what is Kubernetes? You can say that it is the DevOps tool that is used to scale, to manage all the applications that are running inside containers. So Kubernetes is a tool to manage containerized application. So that's why we have to learn Docker first, because our applications run inside Docker containers, right? Or we can use other containerization platforms like Containerd. It is also for running applications into containers. But let's suppose we are using Docker for our applications to run inside containers. And when we have hundreds or thousands or millions or even billions of containers, we need a tool to manage, to scale, to watch out all those containers at one time. And that is actually the purpose of Kubernetes. Kubernetes is the captain. It watches all the containers. It watches all the applications running inside those containers. Whether if any container is healthy or it is crashing, every responsibility that is owned by Kubernetes. So you can say that Kubernetes is a tool to manage our applications running inside the containers. That is actually the most simplest definition you would find. So back in 2014, Kubernetes was developed inside Google. So we can say that Google is the birthplace of Kubernetes. So it's been a decade. Kubernetes has reshaped how our applications run inside the containers. And believe me, you can search on Google that Google runs billions of containers each week to power its search engine. We know that there are billions of queries searched on Google each day. That is why I'm telling you the use case of Google. that when we have containers at that amount, billions of containers, you can imagine. So definitely we need Kubernetes to manage all those applications. So it's been a decade how Kubernetes has reshaped how we can deploy, manage, or scale our applications running inside the containers. And not only that, guys, Kubernetes also automates all the operational tasks of container management, and Kubernetes has built-in commands to deploy applications. With the help of Kubernetes, we can roll out changes to our applications. We can scale up or scale down our applications according to the desired workload. We can also monitor our applications with the help of Kubernetes. And the most important, we can watch all our containers that are running on our nodes. So for your information, guys, Kubernetes is also known as K8s. That is actually the short form of Kubernetes, K8s. And why it is known as K8s? It is because the alphabet K and S, there are actually 8 alphabets: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that is why K and S, the number of alphabets between K and S are actually 8, and that's why it is known as K8s. So K8s is also the short form of Kubernetes. So finally, I would like to repeat, what is Kubernetes? Kubernetes is an open source tool to deploy, manage, provision, scale up or scale down, and monitor our applications. Alright guys, now you must be having some confusion between Kubernetes and Docker. After all, we know that Docker is a platform that is used to run our applications inside the container. Then what is the difference between Kubernetes and Docker? First of all, we must understand that both tools are different. Kubernetes is different and Docker is different. Yet they serve the same purpose, to run applications in a containerized environment. So we can say that they are interlinked with each other. They have the strongest bonding. Kubernetes and Docker have the strongest bonding with each other. Now we have learned almost every important concept of Docker containers. We have a full course on Docker. So we know that Docker helps us to run our applications into a box, which is known as a container. And we can ship that container and we can run that container anywhere in the world. So that is actually the core purpose of Docker, to containerize our application, to run our application inside a container. When we have that container, we can have the image of the container. We can ship it anywhere in the world and we can run our application into a container. But when we have those containers or those containerized applications in a large number, I mean in millions or even in billions, now we need a responsible guy. We need a responsible tool that should safely ship or manage all those containers. And that's what K8s or Kubernetes does. So you must not be confused. Docker to run applications, apps inside containers. Okay, these are my containers, 1, 2, 3. And now if these containers are in millions, 1 million, so definitely I will need a tool to manage all those millions of containers. And that's what Kubernetes comes in, and Kubernetes actually helps to manage, to deploy, to scale all those containers. And this is why Kubernetes is also known as the captain. So it is a captain who is the manager, who is responsible for all the applications that are running inside our Docker containers. And that's why, guys, I have prepared the Docker course first, because we know that Docker is strongly linked with Kubernetes, since Kubernetes is the captain of all the containers. So you can watch my Docker course, which is a 6 hours of Docker video, so that you have strong containerization concepts. And in my opinion, guys, I would like to say that Kubernetes is just like a whole new operating system with a lot of concepts. And I have decided to prepare a separate lecture on each Kubernetes terminology, like what is a pod, what is a stateful set, what is a replica set, what is a namespace. So you can say that there are tons of Kubernetes concepts that we have to learn. And in the next chapter, we are going to learn about what is Kubernetes used for. So make sure that you subscribe DevOps Molvi. We are going to learn every Kubernetes concept in this course. And I will see you in our next chapter, what is Kubernetes used for. So that's it for today's lecture. Have a good one and bye.